It's always a problem when you try to get someone's attention and they're praying. Or you're trying to get their attention and they're following the bulletin. I was desperately trying to get hold of Beverly there at the organ, and all she was doing was having her head down, totally focused on the reading and reading with everybody. Can you pay a little more attention to me, please? It's an amazing thing for the disciples to be around Jesus when he's praying. Obviously, he went up to pray, and it was in his praying that his demeanor, his face, his garments were transformed. And you can't help but think about the Garden of Gethsemane as you read this story. In the garden, Jesus brings Peter, James, and John and says, "Stay awake with me." But they fight sleep and fall asleep. And in this case, Jesus is not transfigured, but has tears and blood as he struggles with his call to the cross. In this story of the Transfiguration, he asks the same disciples to come up and stay awake, but they fall asleep. I have a feeling that this might be the model that many of us follow. When it comes to spiritual sight and spiritual insight, sometimes we're found asleep. I hope when you come to communion and you turn around and come back, you look over here at the reflection of this beautiful stained glass window on the dark, what is it? It's not brick, it's Adobe, it's not Adobe. The wall, thank you. Look at the reflection on the wall. This window, as the light comes through it, just is a symbol of Jesus, if you will. And that might be our part of our reflecting Jesus in our lives. I hate to bring up Plato again, but it's a little bit like the way that Plato described reality is that we just saw shadows and reflections rather than the real thing. But the cool thing about Moses and Jesus is they both saw God directly. And I think we can be transfigured. I think we can walk on water like Peter did. I've tried over and over again in one day. Well, I think I could walk on water today. Right across that river. It's in that prayer that Jesus is transfigured. It's in prayer that we are transfigured. So as you consider this season of Lent and what you're going to give up, think about what you're going to take on. And I know I sound like a broken record, but more time in prayer, and I'm preaching to myself. I still let the busyness of the day get in the way. And maybe that's why my face is not transfigured more. So I do see Jesus in you all. I do see that God has affected all of us that are here and that aren't here. But I think this is so much more beautiful than the reflection. But at least we have a reflection. Peter, once again, telling God what to do. Hey, Jesus, let's build some tents here. Hey, Jesus, don't go to the cross. Hey, Jesus, quit talking about suffering. Hey, Jesus, don't wash my feet. As I read this story, I find myself wondering, how often do I tell Jesus what to do with a little bit of a question at the end? Jesus, make me win the lottery? Question mark? Just being in the presence of God is probably enough and much better than the lottery. Being in the presence of God as you receive communion is better than the lottery, winning the lottery. People talk about this gospel in terms of a mountaintop experience. I don't think this is what it's about. It's about Jesus. It's about Jesus face to face with God, and it's about the apostles being face to face with God. And the beautiful thing, in my opinion, as we come to church, is we do come face to face with God. Every time we exchange a peace with one another. Every time we look at each other's face. Every time we pray, every time we receive communion. So for all of Peter's words, this gospel reading on the mountain ends with, "This is my son, the one I have chosen. Listen to him." Now maybe God is saying, listen to him, like I just said. If he's talking to me, he's saying, Jim, listen to him. St. Mark's, listen to him. Christians, listen to him. And quit putting our own stuff between us and God.